Well, what a day we have had. This is the first day of CarFest 2024, I believe, so I've been reliably informed. So it started this morning with the worst storms ever. There was rain, there was all kinds of horrible things. We actually lost the door off our ice cream van as a big gust of wind kind of ripped it off on the way here. Weirdly, we'll come back to that in a little bit later on, but look at the weather now. It's been absolutely fantastic. Glorious sun all day long with just a nice little kind of puffy clouds all over the place. Obviously, we've had the bed here. We've got a new little addition we've made here now. We've got our kind of little greenhouse car. This is obviously an adaptation of the shed vehicle that we had once upon a time. We've also got our little Think car here as well. So it's a little EV. This is the only Think car that's been registered in the UK. That's been quite fun. So we've been out on the track on there. Got our bathroom. As you probably remember from before, we had a small accident with that, actually kind of blew it up. Haven't got much further. I got it started, just doesn't want to go yet, so I need a bit more work on that, but it's here. It looks okay, it's all groovy. And then we've got a nice little guest appearance from a Cadbury Scream Egg car, which is rather fun. I always wanted to have one of these with us here at CarFest. It's rather lovely. And then, of course, we've got a pair of oranges, obviously. And then we've got Ecto 1. How cool is this? And look at this interior. There's even Mr. Slimer, if that's what he's called, or just Slimer, I think, inside there. Absolutely fantastic fun. And as you can see from all over the place, we have got tons and tons of amazing vehicles. If you just come over this way just a little bit more, you can see, look, we've got lots of very, very groovy V-dubs. We've got a lot of racing car type things over there. We've obviously got sort of, well, all kinds of stuff over this side. We've got these really, really groovy retro things. We've got a load of electric stuff. I mean, we've got such a kind of eclectic mix of cars. It is quite wonderful here, and it's been a fantastic day. And what was really amazing about the day that it finished off wonderfully because somebody found our door. Can you imagine that? It was stuck in a sort of hedgerow somewhere miles away from the campsite. Somebody rescued it, got to someone else, and got back to us, and now we can put it back together again and make our ice cream van work again sometime in the future. And we've got 2 more days of this. It'd be rather wonderful. Well, actually, this is something you guys haven't seen yet. Obviously, it's got my new paint livery on this. So this is top secret. I'm not going to tell anything about it at all. But this is the door that used to be attached to that obviously went a bit missing. But you can see it's actually not that bad. There's a little bit of damage on the side. I might just keep that as part of the story. There's a few things I'm going to have to repair. There's a big split down the bottom down here and here. But basically, it's completely recoverable, which is quite exciting. And it's a real shame that we've just trashed this perfectly good paint. But it's not that trashed. A little bit of a clean, a little bit of a polish. It'll look damaged, but okay, which is kind of groovy. And there's this little teeny weeny shopping trolley behind here. Of course, you've seen in the back of the workshop many, many times over. I've said probably the last 10, maybe even 15 years, I think, that next year we're going to have it at CarFest and we're going to go around the track. And that's what's going to happen again. I'm going to say it now, it might not happen, but next year we're going to be taking this around the CarFest track. Now, obviously, originally when I made it, we did it for a little famed movie called Jackass. It was actually for their sort of premiere at Leicester Square. They'd actually broken their original shopping trolley back in the day for the actual movie itself. So they wanted to arrive in style, obviously with a red carpet and everything. And you sit up here as if you're a toddler. It's 3 times the scale. So when I sit in it, it looks perfectly normal as if I was a toddler. The music, as you can hear, is really rocking now, which is rather wonderful. And originally it was electric, so we actually had electric motors on either side. There's a caster missing at the moment here because we're doing some work on this. So you can actually see on this side there's a little kind of bolt hole there, so that's where a little Lynch motor used to go on either side. They weren't really very torquey enough, so then we went to hydraulic drive. That was a terrible idea really, because you can see this is one of the pumps here. Everything's a lot heavier and a lot chunkier and a lot less shopping trolley like. And then obviously, because we wanted to have no radiators and cooling fans, all that kind of stuff, we ended up having just a big vessel full of hydraulic fluid sat inside the shopping trolley, and that just made it heavier and unpleasant. And it had 18 gears. Who needs 18 gears? It's not a truck, right? So we decided to get rid of all of that. So I've now got a very, very exciting thing. So we've got some electric motors that are actually prototype motors, the Yasa motors, that are now going to be, is it Daimler or perhaps Bugatti? I don't know. Somebody has just bought them out, and then they are very, very sporty things. And these motors we're going to be using actually came from the Jaguar, sort of the baddies car of the most nearly recent James Bond movie. So they're a bit worn, but they're going to be more than torquey enough, way, way, way too much power really for this. So we'll back them right down, but then we'll make it very, very drivable. They're going to live, well, kind of in this sort of space. I've got some 17-inch rims, which we're actually going to puff up. So that will still be the same rolling radius, maybe a little bit bigger, but actually then it means that then there's enough room inside that rim. Although they won't be hub mounted, they're actually going to have motors sort of living in that physical space just inside here. And that's going to keep them nice and tidy. We'll run all the cables up so you can't really see them. We're going to have inside here, we'll hide the batteries and controllers and stuff with horn flakes, race crispies, Ed pull, that kind of cool stuff. And of course then we're going to need to put in sort of the controls. So I'm going to try maybe go down the kind of oblivion kind of thing. So you've just got a stick that you can kind of move around perhaps, and obviously pull backwards and forwards and steer. Maybe, I don't know, it's almost like in a helicopter or a spaceship, I don't know. So there'll be something going on there, but to make it kind of entertaining to drive. And of course, it's not really built for speed, but there is a speed record for fastest shopping trolley, and it is about 70 odd miles an hour, at least it was. It might be 100 by now. We'll see how we feel about that. The suspension on this, just to get through an IVA test, is actually one of the things where this sort of I guess, paused the project many moons ago. So originally you just had this plate here, and of course the casters were bolted to that, but obviously IVA wanted to have some suspension. They wanted enough suspension that you could go over a speed bump perhaps, but not so much that you'd fall over. So I kind of opted for probably, I don't know, I think we're going to go for like 50 mil, maybe that sort of movement. And so what's going to happen, I've had to put a hinge on the front sort of end here. So you've now actually got these two pieces which now be welded together to stop them falling over. But essentially now inside that, which I haven't done, there's going to be some Erlin sort of coilovers. They're going to be bolted up inside here. So that's going to make the whole thing work. And we had to do the same thing on the front because the steering on this was a nightmare. So early on, so we kind of made it a little bit stronger. It's been outside for so long, it's rusted. I need to go again, and we found these bearings. I have no idea where, so hopefully I can get some more. But you can see again, there's actually a coilover that's going to live inside there, and again making the suspension operate. So it's actually going to be just like a car, only nothing like a car, which is obviously the way I like it. So this thing, you know, is going to be quite a chunk of stainless steel. There's a bit of rust in places, but that's just contamination rather than the actual material itself rusting. So it's quite hard to weld. You've got to get the right gas, you've got to get the right alloys of stainless to play around with, and there's still tons and tons to do. So it could happen by next year. We'll just have to watch this space. As always, it's a job for another day. Obviously, we were going to have a video up today, or at least Wednesday. It's all gone a bit crazy, all the work we've been doing to try and get the CarFest thing to happen. So this is your video today, and then probably in a fortnight's time or so, then that video will pop up and it'll be wonderful. It's all about lasering stuff to do with the boat. Very complicated, very cryptic, but that's what it's going to be about. So that'll be wonderful as well. And then after that, we're going to go back to the chassis, some powder coating. That'll be wonderful too. So lots of wonderfulness. A wonderful event, and it's just a really great place to be. We're now going to go and listen to some music, probably a little bit of food, and have a fantastic time. And you guys do the same thing too.